Many people. So many people who said they are working during this hour, but hello, Lindsay. I've already talked to you and Courtney and Tammy and Kathy. I'll be adding some more people as they hop on. I hope you're really well. I hope you're really well. It's such a privilege to be here today and just to talk to you guys. I am going to have some slides and a presentation to go with the teaching. So please use the chat bar. Like I want to ask you guys to use the chat bar. Like as I'm talking, if you have questions that you want me to answer at the end, or if there's something that you want to add to it and you want me to address it at the end, like you definitely use the chat bar. But if you're on here live, I know not everybody's watching this live, but if you would just take a moment to tell us who you are in the chat bar, like where you're watching from, why you're watching. I think that's really important for me to know how I can help you, how I can serve you, because there is very much a purpose to this presentation. I know that God has led me here to do this, and I've actually been spending some time praying over it. And so I know He's going to do something good from this and through me. And I just am so honored and humbled to be able to sit here and talk to you and teach from what I have learned myself. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. But like I said, feel free to just use the chat bar to talk and we'll go from there. Can somebody give me a thumbs up? Can you see my screen? Okay, when I do this, can you see the new slide? Like, is it transitioning? No, I always have trouble with that. So let me do this instead. Okay. Hold on just a minute, you guys. I don't know why it won't work that way for me. Let me do something really quickly, but you guys go ahead and just introduce yourself in the chat bar and I will be like 2 shakes and I'll be ready. Okay. Georgia, Tammy, Worcestershire. Oh my gosh, Kathy. Stop it. I went to the University of Worcester, like when I was in college. That is insane. Okay. I spent a semester there. North Carolina. Okay, it's downloaded for me. Good deal. Good deal. Good deal. Okay. Let's see. I can't believe you're watching from the UK. That is like just so exciting to me. Okay. I know. That's so wild. Okay, I have to connect with you later about that. We will do that. Okay. Let's see. Now, you guys, can you see my screen? Yes. Can somebody give me a thumbs up? Tammy, you're beautiful. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to mute you guys. Just don't. Okay. All right. I muted you guys. And let me just make sure that nobody else is waiting to get in here. Okay. All right. So let's get started. Like I said, this is, if you're here, you want to learn about metabolism, right? You want to learn about what is going on, how you can improve your metabolism. Maybe your metabolism is working great, but you just want to make sure it stays that way, right? So I really wanted to do a teaching and an education piece on how to heal your metabolism, especially if you're here in midlife like me. Midlife can mean late 30s. Midlife can be your 40s, your 50s. I know that I have some clients that I work with who are well past menopause and their metabolism is just firing and working so well for them, right? And so don't ever think that just because I'm a certain age that I can't be my healthiest self or reach the goals that I have for my body, because God is teaching me every single day that is just not true through the work that I do. But this is really fun for me. I love to do prizes and giveaways for you guys who get on this call. So if you are watching this live and if you at any point in this presentation, something sticks out to you, something helps you, something is like an aha moment to you, I want you to take a picture. Just take a picture, a screenshot on your phone if you're on your phone, or just a picture if you're watching from your computer, and share it on social media and tag me. I'm going to draw 3 winners from this presentation to give away a workout tank, a tub of my BCAAs, and a Starbucks gift card. So that is how you can win something while you're watching this. All right. So don't be shy and do that. But you are in the right place. Listen, I know that we can come to things like this or we can get information and we're like, why am I even doing this? Why am I even seeking out this information? I don't know if this is going to work or what's going to change for me now. But listen, you're in the right place. I want you to know this. If you are an ambitious ambitious woman of God who wants to honor him with this part of your life. For me personally, before I started coaching and really taking care of myself, I didn't think to pray about what I was eating. Yeah, we prayed over meals, but I didn't actually think to pray, God, bless this food and help it bless my body. But God, make sure this food is actually good for me. I want to eat food that honors you. God, show me what to eat so that I know I'm eating according to your plan and not just my cravings, right? I never thought to pray over my workouts and to view them as worship, but God slowly shifted my heart. And I know that if you're here, you love him. And I know that you probably have thought about giving this part of your life to him, but maybe you just haven't gone all in with that. And I want to talk about that today too. You're in the right place if you are a woman who loves to succeed. Listen, I am unashamed of the fact that I am an ambitious woman of God, and I like to set goals and I like to reach them, right? Tell me in the chat bar, is that you? Do you like to see things happen? Do you like to set goals and actually succeed? That's okay. Like, God makes us that way, and it is a good thing we can use for his glory. But if you love to excel and you're tired of trying to figure out your hormones, trying to figure out what to eat, trying to figure out how do I get rid of this belly fat, and you want to feel confident again in the plan that you're following, then you are absolutely in the right place. Okay. And you're in the right place today if you want to learn how to make your body work for you again, instead of fighting this, what seems to be a slow metabolism, instead of fighting against what you think might be age or your hormones or your thyroid. You're in the right place if you want to learn how to fight against that, because here's just a news flash. Not everything has to do with your age. A lot of it has to do with just some hormonal changes happening in your body that often are a result of the way that we live, our lifestyle, and the food that we put into our body. All right. But you are probably at a point where you're just tired of trying to sift through all the information out there, and you're actually hungry for God's help in this area of your life. And you want something sustainable. You don't want quick fixes anymore. You want something that is sustainable and that you can do for the long term, and that actually works, right? That helps you build muscle, that helps you lose fat, that helps you have healthy hormones and a metabolism that actually works for you. Okay. And so, like I said, I get it. Like, I felt stuck in that horrible cycle of self-defeat for so long in my health and nutrition. When I started as a coach, I was 10 years ago. My body was very different. In 2020, I hit 40, and I kind of felt like I had to learn all over again and figure out, what am I supposed to do now, God, right? And he has definitely helped me. I am going to give all glory and praise to God, because yes, we're going to talk about the sciencey stuff here, but the sciencey stuff is a result of his creation. And God helped me come out of such a dark place twice in my health and fitness. And I want to teach you what he has taught me and encourage you that getting to where you want to be is going to be a journey of progress and not perfection. If you are seeking perfection, you are not in the right place. Okay. And so we're going to talk about how to slowly get back to where you want to be. But just first of all, if you don't know me, I know some of you don't know me as well. Some of you do know me really well, but I am Rachel Mitchell, and I have been a health and fitness coach for about 10 years. But it's really been in the last 2 years that I got really focused on macronutrients, on hormones, on women's health, especially in midlife. And I got certified as a nutrition and macro coach, and I'm almost finished with my hormone certification. And so God has definitely taught me a lot through my own story, through my own journey, but also through the education side of becoming a health and fitness coach. And I love more than anything to help women break through the noise and the diet industry and the lies that are out there, to help you find food freedom, sustainable ways to lose fat and build muscles, and especially to steward our bodies as an act of worship to our Creator. Because if we're doing it for any other reason, or if we're doing it without that as part of our reason, then it's just for naught. If you're doing it in vain, and I don't want you to do anything in vain. And so when it comes to fat loss, when it comes to midlife, when it comes to hormones, there is a lot of noise out there. Like, just type in the chat bar if you don't mind. Like, are you confused by all of the different information out there going on right now about how to lose fat, about how to lose weight, about how to have healthy hormones? There's so much out there. And there are so many influencers, quote unquote, influencers out there who are talking a lot, but they don't actually have the science to back it up. I know for years, and I am sorry if you were one of my clients when I did this, I didn't know better, but I taught women to really restrict calories for about 5 years. I thought that was the way that that was the only way to lose weight, right? I know I tried to exist on a 1,200 calorie diet for years, and I kept binging. I kept binging and restricting and binging and restricting, and my hormones were crazy. Like, I was always cranky. I just didn't have a lot of energy, and that just doesn't work. Yes, you can lose weight quickly that way, but you're not going to keep it off, and you're not going to see long-term results, and you're not really going to steward your body the way that God created it to be stewarded. Okay. People are promising fast weight loss. Yes, there are things you can do to lose weight quickly. But again, if that's ever been you, did it really work? And if it didn't work, or if the weight didn't stay off, then it didn't really work, right? There's extreme cardio. People are encouraging you to eat one meal a day. There's definitely shots and pills. I mean, I won't go into a lot of that, but prepackaged programs like Optavia and things like that are all promising you really quick results. But the thing is that it's wreaking havoc. It is wreaking havoc on your hormones and your metabolism and the systems that God has given you to support and to thrive with. Okay. And so there's so much out there, and I know it's crazy, and I know it's noisy, and I kind of want to cut through some of that noise today, and help you really realize that there's no fast way to heal your metabolism. There's no fast way to lose weight or to lose fat, but you can do it, and you can do it in a way that you can feel confident. And so, some signs. We are talking about metabolism here today. We are talking about metabolism, and metabolism is basically simply just you take food that you put into your body, and your body uses it for energy. That is what metabolism is. Okay. And obviously metabolism can be fast, it can slow down, it can be healthy, but metabolism is just your body taking the food that you put into it and using it for energy. All right. And so, some signs that your metabolism might need healing. All right. And you can tell me if any of these things do actually apply to you in the chat bar. That would be very helpful to me. Maybe you feel like you're doing everything right. You're not really tracking anything, or you're not really like following a plan, but you do feel like you're doing everything right, but you're still not losing weight. Or maybe you're constantly tired. Tell me if that's you. Are you tired even after you get a full night's sleep? That's a sign that your metabolism is not healthy and it needs to improve. Maybe you are craving sugar and carbs like crazy, like all the time. You could just eat sugar. Maybe your clothes fit tighter, even if your weight hasn't changed. That's a sign of inflammation. Maybe you're moody, you're foggy, your brain doesn't work clearly. You just don't feel like yourself anymore. Maybe you eat less and less and less, but you seem to gain more. These are all signs, not that you're old or that you're in perimenopause or menopause, but they're signs that your metabolism is crying out for help. Okay. And we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about how that might be working against you. So why does this happen? Why does your metabolism slow down? Why does it get sluggish? Why does it tend to happen more so for women who are in their 40s and 50s and beyond? There's a lot of things happening in your body. And again, listen, always go back to the fact that your body is not broken. It's just telling you things. Okay. It's just communicating things with you. When we get into our late 30s, into our 40s and 50s, our hormones definitely shift. They definitely shift. Estrogen lowers, progesterone lowers. You can see some thyroid changes, and you do tend to get higher spikes of cortisol just based on life. And so estrogen particularly it plays a key role in regulating your insulin. You probably all know what insulin is, but that's just the response your body gives out when you put carbohydrates, which are energy, into your body. All right. And so you can have a healthy insulin response, which means you're insulin sensitive, or you can have an unhealthy insulin response, which means you're resistant to it. Okay. And so whenever your body stops producing estrogen, it can affect your insulin sensitivity, which affects your appetite and your fat storage. Okay. And so that is one of the things that could be happening with your body. Progesterone also drops, which actually is helping you with anxiety. It calms your nerves. And so when it declines, we tend to have less sleep. We have more sleep issues. We have a little bit more anxiety and some mood swings, which can affect cortisol, right? Sometimes for some women, this is not for everybody. Your thyroid can slow down. Your thyroid regulates your basic metabolic rate. So if that changes, it can affect your fat storage. It can affect your inflammation and stress. But cortisol is a huge culprit for a lot of women. As we get older, our stress hormone, listen, let me say this too. Cortisol is not a bad thing. Your body is supposed to have cortisol. And when it works for you, it wakes you up in the morning. As I just love to think about this, the science, like God wakes you up in the morning on purpose. He wants to meet with you. He wants to start your day with him, and cortisol wakes you up, and as the day gets longer, as it goes farther, your cortisol should be declining so that you can fall asleep and stay asleep. But when cortisol is out of whack, that's when we can't sleep, we're stressed, and our body responds in a survival mode. Okay, so cortisol is not bad, but when our cortisol levels are out of whack, it does promote fat storage. It actually breaks down muscle, it disrupts our sleep, and it can suppress thyroid production. All right. And so poor sleep, chronic stress, under eating, this is a big reason why your metabolism might be working against you. If you are under eating, then your metabolism gets the signal to slow down. Okay. And so you might think, oh, if I under eat, I'm going to lose a lot of weight. Well, that actually could be working against you. If you're under eating, your metabolism, it lowers calorie burn. It actually breaks down muscle for fuel, and it holds on to fat so that it can survive. Our bodies are really smart, okay? And God did not create you to undereat. And so in order to survive, your body is going to hold on to fat, and it's going to take away the muscle, which actually burns more fat. And so especially if you are in your 40s and beyond, undereating is very detrimental to your metabolism. We can kind of get away with it for a little bit in our 20s and our 30s, but as we start to get older, our body really starts to slow down more. And so you have to think of your metabolism as a fire, and the more logs you put on it, the better it's going to burn. And so if we're not feeding the fire, it starts to dwindle out and die away. And that's essentially what happens to our metabolism. Okay. And so over exercising can definitely affect your metabolism. It can, again, put your body into stress mode, which spikes cortisol. It takes away your energy. A really good approach, which we're going to talk about, is to do more strength training and rest and less intense cardio. And then, of course, years of dieting. Like, I mean, guys, like, tell me if you grew up in the era of like hour to 90-minute long cardio workouts and eating like tuna fish and crackers for dinner, or skipping dinner so you could lose weight, or doing the cabbage soup diet, or all these extreme things. I can remember so many things my mom used to do. And we really learned that diet culture growing up. And so repeated yo-yo dieting, which is what happens because when we restrict really hard, our body wants calories. And so you probably, if you have done that extreme dieting, found yourself kind of yo-yo dieting, right? Eating a really little, small amount of food, and then overeating to compensate. And so what that does is, again, it increases stress in your body. It tells your body to eat your muscle, essentially, and it tells it to hold on to fat, and it really wreaks havoc on your hormones and the natural responses that God created them to be. Low carb diets long-term will not fix this. Fasting for really long times, like that one meal a day. I see a lot of people doing that, and it's just not going to help. It's not going to reset your body. What you need is real food, you need real rest, and you need to build strength and muscle. Okay. So again, your body is not broken. Your body is not broken. It just is telling you to do things a little bit differently. And I really want to make sure that you know that it's not you, all hope is not lost. If you feel like you've been doing something and trying for forever, it's okay. You're not done losing weight, you're not done losing fat, you're not done getting the body that you want to have. It's just asking for a different way of doing it. And like I say, I've said it so many times, God has designed your body so beautifully. It is resilient, it is smart, and it will adapt if you give it the time to do it. And I love 2 Corinthians 4:8 that says, we are hard pressed on every side, but we are not crushed. And so if you feel hopeless, I'm here to tell you today that all hope is not lost. And I'm going to give you some examples from some of the women that I do have the privilege of working with. Christy came to me late last year. She's a cancer survivor, praise God. And she thought she just couldn't lose weight anymore. She thought, I'm done. My hormones are out of whack because of cancer and treatments. But we've really just started to feed her body real food to prioritize protein and get her lifting weights. And she's lost 11 pounds and she's stronger every day and she is in remission. So I'm just so proud of her. Another client that I have, Kat, she was a mom who came to me in like January, and she was like, I've done everything. I can't lose this belly fat. And what we did was we really took a minute to actually start to track what she was eating. To track, we realized that she was really eating a lot of fat. She was eating a very little protein and a lot of unhealthy carbs. And we actually increased her nutrition. We got her eating more nutrient dense food, prioritizing protein and lifting weights too. And she saw great progress in just 6 weeks. And so healing your metabolism is not going to happen overnight. It looks different for everybody, but you can do it with some very straightforward and simple ways. And I love that we have community to do it with. Okay. So now let's get to the how to. This is what you came for, right? You came for the how to. Like, Rachel, how am I actually going to heal my metabolism? And again, I will say it 16 times today. You have to give your body time. I am never going to teach a quick fix. If somebody tells you you can lose weight and lose fat quickly and keep it off, you need to run. They do not know what they're talking about, or they're just trying to get you to do something extreme. Your body is not something that it responds to anything quickly, right? And so everything I'm going to tell you to do or encourage you to do, I want you to think about doing it for a long time. All right. And so one of the first things, one of my joys that I have in teaching women is teaching them to eat enough. Most women who come to me are very busy. Again, they've been very much kind of just brainwashed by that diet mentality, and they're really trying to undereat. And over time, they have just slowed their metabolism down. Their metabolism is not working because they're not putting enough food into it. All right. And so eating enough is one of the first things that I teach women to do. And like I say here, this is not a one size fits all approach. If you order, I can't even think of some of those companies where they send you food in the mail. Like, if you order that, it's usually not tailored to your body, and it's usually not enough. And so your body is not a one size fits all. My body needs more food than somebody else's. Your body might need less food than somebody else. But we all have a specific amount of food that our body needs in order to function properly, in order for our systems to work, in order for our hair to grow, in order for our cortisol to be healthy. Your body is very unique, and it should never follow a one size fits all plan. But whenever you start to look at eating more food, you always want to prioritize protein first. I know protein is huge. It's everywhere out on social media. But if you're not eating enough protein, which most women that I work with are not when they come to me, then your body is not going to operate properly. Your body needs protein to build muscle, to burn fat, to grow hair, to do all of these things, to think clearly. And so what I teach women to do is aim for at least 120 grams a day. That's 30 grams of protein at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a snack in between. If you can work up to that, you're going to do a lot of things. You're going to promote a healthy insulin response. You're going to start to build muscle, which will burn fat. and you're going to boost your metabolism because protein is a very thermic food, which means that it takes more energy to actually break it down and use it. So your body has to burn more calories to process the protein in your body. So it's really beautiful. I love protein. And so whole foods as well, when we're talking about protein, fat, and carbohydrates, which all play a really important role in the health of your body, whole foods are your best friend. Like no longer are we like buy a 100-calorie pack or eat a protein bar or, go through McDonald's and get the Happy Meal because it's less calories. No, you're going to focus on whole foods. And I'm going to share like a sample meal plan here in a little bit, but think eggs, chicken, ground beef, lots of vegetables, lots of fruit, complex carbohydrates like sourdough bread, rice. We eat a lot of potatoes here and fruits. And so all of those, again, think, what did God create? What did God create? That's what's going to be best for your hormones and for your metabolism. And it's going to actually help you to lose fat and keep it off for the long term. Now, I'm going to go into something that is a little bit sciencey, but I feel like God wants me to, okay? I really feel like he wants me to, for you to understand why your metabolism might not be working well and how to get it back there, okay? So I'm going to talk about the nutrition phases. Now, for me and my clients, I don't teach people to count calories anymore, but we focus on macros, but it is important. Your body has a specific caloric need. In order to maintain the weight that you're at, you have to eat a certain amount of food to keep it at that weight. If you want to lose weight, you have to eat less than that. If you want to put on muscle, or maybe you do need to gain fat, then you have to go into a surplus. But I really want to focus on reverse dieting today. If you are someone who has chronically undereaten for years, okay, that's going to be really important for you. But just to keep it super simple, the deficit phase, obviously, is probably one that you have tried to stay in for most of your life, right? Most of my clients are constantly saying, I need to be in a deficit. I need to cut calories. I've tried to eat 1,300 calories. And that's when you put yourself in a deficit. So just for example, for me, my body needs about 2,000 calories a day just to maintain, probably 2,100, just to maintain the weight that I'm at, right? So if I want to lose weight, I go into a deficit, which means you consume fewer calories than what your body needs to actually facilitate weight loss, right? Now, this is not a bad thing. Being in a deficit is not a bad thing. It's for you if you do want to lose weight or fat loss, but you've actually been eating at maintenance for a while. If you're chronically in a deficit and you're not losing weight, it's because your metabolism has stopped working because you've been in a deficit for so long. Okay. And so if that's you, you really are a candidate for eating at maintenance for a while or for reverse dieting, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute. But if you are someone who maybe you have been eating at a surplus, you've been eating more than you need, or you've been eating at maintenance and you want to go into a deficit, you can do that, but you have to be prepared for the mental challenges that it brings. Obviously, you're eating less than your body needs. You're going to have a little bit less energy. You should never, ever be in a drastic calorie deficit. If someone that you work with tells you to drop a lot of calories, that is not going to work for you. In order to be at a healthy calorie deficit, you really need to be about 10 to 15% fewer calories than your body needs to maintain. If you go beyond that, you are probably going to lose some weight, but you're going to gain it right back. And you can tell me, has that ever happened to you? You went in a really super strict calorie deficit, you lost the weight, but then you gained it all back and then some more. That's because you were in too strict of a calorie deficit, and it just slows your metabolism down and you're not going to see long-term results, okay? So a deficit is not bad, but you should not be staying there. Maintenance is when you're just consuming enough calories that your body needs to maintain your current weight, to maintain the muscle that you have and your metabolic health, okay? This is good. Maintenance, good. I'm eating in maintenance right now. I know some of you guys are my clients and you're eating in maintenance right now. And we go to maintenance to make sure that our metabolism stays healthy. When we're in a deficit for a long time, like I said, we also lose muscle if you stay there. And so going back into maintenance mode periodically helps you maintain your weight loss, but also helps you maintain your muscle and your metabolic health. And this is really, really important. I like to teach my clients, don't stay in a deficit for more than like 4 to 6 weeks without coming out and going back into maintenance. Okay. You can also, in maintenance mode, if you're lifting weight and you're eating whole foods and you're prioritizing protein, you can have what we call body recomposition. Okay. That means that you are actually building muscle and losing fat at the same time. And this is really where your body thrives. Like, this is my goal for my clients, to help them get to the proper weight, a healthy weight, and then just to live in maintenance, or sometimes a surplus, just depending on their goals. Okay. The goal is to lose weight and keep it off. And we do that by losing weight slowly and steadily and going back into maintenance mode. Okay. The third phase is a surplus. Obviously, this is where you eat more calories than your body needs. This is for people who are underweight, need to put on some fat and muscle, but it's also for people who have, like, let's say, bodybuilding goals. If you want to put on more muscle, you can't do it eating at maintenance. Like, you have to have more nutrients, more food, more fuel in order to build bigger muscles. Okay. So this doesn't apply to a lot of the people that I work with, but sometimes it does. Okay. And then now here's where I really want to talk to you about metabolic health and a nutrition phase that helped me and that I find helps a lot of my clients who have been chronically under eating. Okay. Reverse dieting is when you transition from a really lower calorie restriction deficit towards maintenance. Okay. And this happens gradually. Let's say, so when I started to really study macros and to start eating more, I was trying to eat 1,300 calories a day, which was not working for me. I was not losing weight because I was binging so often, because I was hungry, I was tired, I was cranky. I couldn't lift heavy weights. Like, it did not work. And so I started to work towards 1,800 calories, but I slowly did it. I started eating 1,400 calories a day. I started eating 1,600 calories a day. Then I worked my way up to 1,800, 2,000 calories a day. And guess what? As I did that, I didn't gain a single pound. It's because I was slowly transitioning my caloric intake weeks at a time towards that ultimate goal of maintenance. Okay. And so this works really well, not only to help heal your body, heal your metabolism, but also you have more energy. I can't wait to share some of the transformations later in this slideshow of my clients who are eating more and they are thriving. Like, their hair has stopped falling out. They're sleeping better. They have more muscle body composition that they want. And so you can do this. If you've been eating in a caloric deficit for too long, you are a great candidate for reverse dieting, where we would just slowly increase your calories a little bit at a time until you're at maintenance, and you'll start to see your body start to work again. You'll be hungrier and you'll be able to eat more, and you're just going to feel amazing. So this is where I put a lot of women who have been yo-yo dieting and who are really looking for that long-term health and sustainability. All right. So those are the phases I wanted to talk about. And you can tell me, I would love to know, or you can, if you don't want to put it in the chat bar, send me a DM. Like, tell me, have you been under eating? Do you think you've been overeating? Do you not have any clue because you haven't really been tracking? I would love to know where you think you fall in those nutrition phases, and what might work best for you, but I can help you figure that out too. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk to me one-on-one towards the end of this call. Okay. But with all of those phases, I have to say consistency is everything. Consistency in your nutrition is everything. And if you have been trying to eat healthy for a week and then you blow it and then you just get off of it and then you try again a few weeks later, like, your body is terribly confused. Your body is terribly confused and doesn't know what you're going to do next. So again, it goes into survival mode. It holds on to fat, and you're not going to see any lasting progress if you're not being consistent with what you're doing. Okay. All right, so we've been through nutrition. Now let's talk about some strength training. Another way to heal your metabolism, especially in midlife, you guys, because listen, there's no way around it. As we get older, our body starts to lose muscle if we don't do something about it. That's a really important part of that. Your muscle on your body is, like I said here, metabolic gold. As you start to put on more muscle, you're naturally going to lose fat. And you You don't have to spend hours in the gym. You don't have to have a personal trainer. You just got to have some weights at your house or at the gym, and you got to work those muscles every week, right? I know that myself and my clients, we lift weights at least 3 days a week. I like to do it 4, but short, strategic, strength focused workouts are going to help you build muscle, which is going to burn fat and get your metabolism going. This is a client of mine. She is a friend of mine as well, but she ran a lot. When she came to me and she wanted to work with me, she ran a lot and she couldn't understand why she couldn't lose her belly fat. And it's because she was exercising a lot, but she wasn't actually strength training. And so we added 3 strength training workouts to her week. And over the 6 weeks, this is what happened. Okay. We also increased her food intake because she was also trying to undereat. And this is what happened to her body. Isn't that incredible? I think that's so amazing. So strength training and building muscle in midlife and beyond is so important for your body, for your metabolism, and to help you lose weight. Another method that you can take is to actually implement intermittent fasting. My clients and we implement carb cycling and intermittent fasting, but fasting is something you can do right here, right now. You don't need anybody to help you do it. All that is that you are actually like stopping eating at a certain time at night and you start eating at a certain time the next morning. Okay. So I teach my clients to start with a 12-hour fast, to work up to a 14, 16 hour if they want to. I only fast for like 14 hours usually. And sometimes I'll do 16, but I'm happy with 14 hours. And that allows me to get all of my food in. But this is really great for your gut. It's really great for healing your body. It's really great for just giving your body time to rest from metabolizing food. And it does a lot to help you start to tap into that belly fat. Because if you're constantly putting food into your body is constantly trying to metabolize what you're putting in, and it's not actually tapping into the stored fat that you have in your body. Okay. So intermittent fasting is a great way to start burning fat and boosting your metabolism. If you've never done it before, this is a QR code. You can take a picture of it or use your camera, and you can actually take a free intermittent fasting quiz, and it will actually email you and tell you what's the best intermittent fasting window for you. Okay. So if you want to do that really quickly, you can. And that will just be something that you can start doing immediately if you're not already intermittent fasting. All right. I'm going to keep going. Another thing that you can do is really prioritize rest. Now, let me say this. When I say rest, you definitely want to be moving. I am a big advocate for getting steps in. If you are doing a really great strength training workout once a day, but you sit the rest of the day, you're sedentary. Like, it doesn't matter how hard that workout was. You're sedentary if you're not getting 8, 10, 12,000 steps a day. All right. And there's just no other way to say that. So I advocate movement and rest. I mean, and steps throughout the day, but you also have to prioritize rest and sleep. Cortisol is a hormone that we talked about. And if your cortisol is out of whack and you're not sleeping, it's only going to cause your body to slow down more to try to force you to rest. So rest is productive. God created us to pause and rest. And I will be completely transparent in saying this and honest and hardcore. Our technology is stealing our rest. Okay. If you are somebody who scrolls on your phone for an hour before you go to bed, or you watch TV until you fall asleep, that is tapping into, it's making your cortisol out of balance. Okay. Because it's stimulating your brain, and the light is really, really stimulating your cortisol, and it's saying, stay awake, stay awake, stay awake. And then you can't fall asleep and rest well. And so if you make a habit out of putting your phone away a couple of hours before bed, not watching TV in your bedroom, and really not reaching for your phone first thing in the morning, you are going to rest better. Your cortisol is going to be happy, and you actually can. I talk to lots of women. When I help them prioritize sleep, they actually start to see the fat melt off because their body is rested and ready to work the way that it's supposed to. So make sure you're prioritizing sleep, getting off of your phone, any technology before bed, and you are going to have some better rest. Okay. So through all of this, like I said, consistency is everything. And if you're not patient with this process, if you try to eat whole foods, if you try to prioritize protein for a week, if you try to get more rest for a week and it just doesn't happen the way you want it to and you give up, then you're never going to get anywhere. All right. But patience is your secret weapon. Patience is a fruit of the spirit, right? God tells us that. But anything diet culture tells you that you can do this quickly, it's not true. It's a lie. And true healing your gut, healing your metabolism, healing your hormones, it takes some time. And so your metabolism didn't fall apart overnight, and it's not going to heal overnight either. And so progress is always the goal. Progress, not perfection. You don't have to have a perfect week to see progress. All right. And progress is not just happening on the scale. That's another thing. I see women give up so quickly when the scale doesn't move, and they ignore the fact that they have more energy, that they're sleeping better, that they're stronger, that they feel more confident about what they're doing for their bodies. This is Brittany. And she sent me this picture on Mother's Day, and she was like, Rachel, this is a year apart. She said, this is me on Mother's Day last year, and this is me on Mother's Day this year. She said, I'm so glad I didn't give up. I'm so glad I didn't give up. And it just like, it brings tears to my eyes because God rewarded her patience. God rewarded the work that she did not grow weary in doing. And she is feeling and looking amazing, right? And so we have to reject the lies that the industry and the diet industry has told us. No more low calorie plans, no more pills or quick fixes or gimmicks. You don't need a new diet, the perfect diet. You just need to fuel your body for the healthy functions that God created it to have. And you need to give it time, and you need to stop making choices out of fear or striving. And listen, I can say that because I've been there, and I know what it feels like. And I know what it feels like to try another thing. I need another thing. I need a new coach. I need this and this and this. No, you just need to love your body, be consistent with it, and give it over to God. All right. And so, like, what does God have to do with this? Like, what does God have to do with metabolism and strength and growing older and being healthy and hormones? We cannot deny the fact that God created a perfect plan for our bodies. Genesis 1 and 2 tell us that, right? He created you and said you were very, very good. He also gave us everything that we need to be healthy and to have a healthy metabolism and have healthy hormones. I love Psalm 104 that talks about how he created the grass to grow for the cattle. And he even created things like wine and bread to make our hearts glad. God gave us everything that we need to be healthy. Our culture has just kind of messed it up, and we've followed culture more than we followed the Bible and what it says. He also tells us to cast all of our cares on him. If this scares you, if eating more food scares you, if trying to build muscle scares you, tell him, God, I'm scared. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't want to gain weight. It does scare me. Cast all your cares on him. He's also not the author of fear or confusion. And if you feel fear, or if you can feel confusion about the plan you're trying to follow, then that is not from him. That is from the enemy. He comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but Jesus came to give abundant life. And so God has everything to do with the plans that we are making for our body. And I want you to believe that with all your heart. A couple more client testimonies. This is Alicia. She's in her late 30s. She's almost 40. And she started following the plan that I helped her create. And she just is thriving in it. Like, she still is. She loves to talk about her biological age. You can do that on one of those smart scales. And she said it's gone down. Like, it's gone down since eating more. Like, she is eating more than she was before, lifting weights, moving her body regularly, and eating whole foods. Okay. So I promised a sample. Like, what does this look like? I've given you lots of things to do and to start to implement, but what does this look like? And this is just a super, super simple sample day of eating. And again, it depends on what your body needs, how much of these things you eat. But starting your day with simple things like eggs, greens. I didn't put it on here, but sourdough toast, avocado. That's a great way to wake up and get your metabolism going, especially after a strength training workout. Eating a good lunch, a hearty lunch of chicken and sweet potatoes and maybe a salad. That's a good macronutrient balanced meal. A high protein snack like a shake or some cottage cheese and yogurt with some berries, and then a dinner of a protein, a carb, and vegetable. This is a fat burning day of eating, and you are not skimping on calories. You are not skimping on God's healthy carbs. You are not skimping on healthy fats. This is a great way. You could eat this meal on repeat, and you could just swap out the proteins, right? You could swap out the vegetables. You might say, Rachel, I don't like quinoa. Okay, but I bet you like rice or potatoes, right? Those are all things that God created that your body will use and metabolize and help you build muscle and burn fat. All right. And then obviously getting a good night's rest, and then adding in those strength training workouts throughout the week, right? You can do cardio, you can run, you can do HIIT, but just don't overdo it. Don't overdo it and skip the strength training workouts. All right. And now, of course, you guys know I'm a coach. You guys know that this is what I do, and I would love to be able to work with you. If you are not already a part of my Faster Way community, this is what I teach women to do. I customize a plan just for you that will help you actually, know how much to eat. What do I eat? What's my protein goal? What's my carb goal? What's my fat goal? And we start to track it. And listen, if you think that you are going to get anywhere without being intentional and tracking, you're just going to kind of get like guesstimated results, right? If you're like, Rachel, I'm going to eat clean, I'm going to up my protein. But if you really want some hardcore results, you want to sleep better, you want to burn fat, you want to build muscle, you want to lose weight, you want to have more energy, you've got to make sure your body is getting enough. And so with my coaching, I always include custom macros. It is a faith-based program. We talk about the Bible. We look at what God says about our bodies, about food, about nutrition, about self-control. The workouts are part of it. You don't have to wonder which strength training workouts do I do. They are customized for you as well. And then, of course, you get meal guides. So it's a great, great plan for anyone who is like, I don't know what to do next. And right now, my 6-week rounds are $50 off. I have one starting Monday, May 19th, and one on June 2nd. So if that's something that you want to do, we can definitely work together. But I do have to say, this is not a diet. This is not another quick fix. This is a way of eating and moving and worshiping that you can do for the rest of your life. And so this is a client testimony that I got today, like actually today. She sent it to my inbox this morning, and she said, I haven't shared a progress picture in a while, but I feel so much better. Leanne came to me in January, and she was really struggling. She was tired. She was gaining fat. She was frustrated. She just didn't know what to do. And I put her on this plan. Like, I customized her macros. I actually gave her more food to eat. I just increased her macros again last week, and she is actually continuing to eat more, but she's eating whole foods. She's moving her body. She's sleeping. She's lifting weights, building strength. And she even said, like, I haven't lost a single pound, but she didn't need to really. But look at her body. She said no brain fog, no fatigue, joint pain gone. And she has just been tracking her macros and following the plan. And I'm so proud of her. And these are some other client testimonies. Women are like Alicia, going down in biological age. Their scale is finally moving. They're loving eating more food. They have a big thing I see among women who are healing their bodies and their metabolism is brain fog. The brain fog starts to go away because your body is actually functioning at full force like it is supposed to. And so I know that this all may be a little overwhelming, and you may be thinking, Rachel, could this even work for me? And so I would love, if you're confused or you want to talk, or if you want to see if this could work for you, through next week, I'm offering a free discovery call. Just get on a call with me for 15 minutes, fill out a little intake form. You can take a picture of this QR code, answer some questions for me, and we'll get on the phone and we'll talk and we'll see if this actually could work for you or if it couldn't. And I'll be completely honest with you when we talk. If I don't think this is a good fit for you, or if I think maybe you don't really, it's not something that you really want to do, I'm not going to push you. But if it is something that would work really well for you, I love to help women in this way. And so if you know you're ready, and you want to jump in a 6-week round, if you're not already, you can use this QR code and use the code May50 for $50 off. Like I said, either way, I have 2 rounds coming up that you can get that $50 off to join a round. But if you just walk away from this saying, hey, I know a little bit more, I'm excited, I understand why I'm not like losing fat, and why my metabolism is not working, and I have a place to start, then I am pleased as punch. Like, I am so happy that I got to just spend some time with you and sit on this call and teach you a little bit about what I know. And so that is, I want to read through your comments and your questions, but I am just like so excited that you even took the time to come and to learn and to figure out some things. So I'm going to read through these, but if anybody wants to unmute or ask a question, please let me know. Let's see, craving sugar. Tammy, you said you're craving sugar and carbs. Courtney said she had inflammation. Okay, smaller weights for longer or shorter lengths, but bigger weights. Lindsay, can you clarify? What's your question? What do you mean? Smaller? Oh, you're talking about time under tension, that kind of thing. So the thing that we do with the faster way is that your workouts are actually varied. So you're not doing the same type of weightlifting workout for forever. It actually changes so that your body doesn't plateau. So for example, right now we're doing straight sets, right? Yes, we're doing straight sets, which means that we're doing the same move more times than we would be, more reps of it. Now, we will also shift to supersets, which means that we'll do fewer reps of a move with heavier weights. And so if you're changing what you're doing with your body and you're not doing the same type of workout, even lifting workout all the time, then you're actually not going to plateau and your body's going to see greater results. So right now, like, we are lifting more reps. We are lifting pretty heavy, but we're doing more reps. So I had to go way down today on my weightlifting than I would have normally, just because there were so many reps. But we'll go back to a format where we're lifting slower, lifting heavier, lifting fewer weights. So I can't actually say you need to do smaller weights and more reps all the time, because you don't. You can do that for a period of time, but you definitely listen, ladies, you definitely need to be lifting those heavy weights. Our bodies respond so well to it. Okay. And so lifting those heavy weights and, with good form, slowly moving up to it, but your body is going to put on muscle in midlife, and it's going to be beautiful. Like, it's going to be beautiful. So that's a really good question. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? Do you have any questions or a specific struggle that you want to share with me? Please feel free to message me if you don't want to talk about it here, because I am an open book, but definitely schedule a call with me. If you did not get to, I'll send out the link to that in the email after this as well. Tammy, did you have a question?
Yes, I do. Rachel, like as far as like the exercises and stuff, all
Mm-hmm.
right, so I have back issues, and that is one reason why I just do more walking than I do
Yeah.
exercises. So, how does the program help with
Yeah.
issues like that?
So, I don't know what your back issues are specifically, but I do imagine for most people that have back issues, building strength in other places in your body is really good for you, in order to prevent further injury or further, sometimes it's like muscle or bone deterioration that's happening, which could be because of food too. Honestly, a lot of, if you undereat for a long time, your body just doesn't have the nutrients to do what it needs to do. Not that that's your case, but it could be. So I would say the strength training workouts that we have, even the cardio workouts, there's always a modifier. And there's actually a beginner, I don't want to say beginner because you're probably not a beginner, but like it's a foundations is what we call it, like a foundations form of the workout where you really learn like the form, because you need to have good form so you don't hurt your back. But also you're still lifting and building muscle while you're protecting those injuries or whatever problems you might have. So, but I would definitely advocate for lifting weights, even if you have to start small and start slow, so that the rest of your body is strengthened to support your back. Does that answer your question? Okay, good, good. Anybody else? Any other good questions? I see Lyra on here. I know Lyra is one of my clients. She's doing great. Sharon is too. I love that y'all came to learn. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to say a quick prayer. I'm going to pray over this. Even if you have to leave, I'm still praying over it because I know that God just is telling me to. So I'm going to pray and then we'll get out of here and I'll send out the recording and the links to these other things that I put in the presentation too. God, I just come to you. I acknowledge you as our creator. God, you are our sustainer. You're our provider, God, and just all of these things that we talked about today, I know are part of your plan. And I praise you for that. And I praise you for the way that you created us and the ability to heal our bodies with your food, with your movement, with what you intended us to do, God. And I just pray that we would each be women who are hungry to do that, to honor you with our bodies and the stewardship of our bodies, God. And I do pray for healing. I pray for healing for Tammy's back, for our metabolisms, for all the things that maybe are not working the way that you intended them to, God. And I just pray for these women as they leave this call and that as they decide what they're going to do next, God, that you would just be with them, that you would guide them. And God, just thank you for the opportunity to be a positive influence, God. I pray that you would use me in my words and my education to help women right where they're at, Lord. And just thank you so much for loving us. Thank you for Jesus Christ. God, may all that we do bring honor and glory to you. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right, bye, you guys. I'll see you later.